back here on Weekend Joe, driven by Munganess St. Louis Acura, Munganess Alton Toyota here on Claibs Online. And it's that time of year again. Greg Warren comes home, and he will be at the Funny Bone out in Westport all weekend long. And he joins us now. Greg, what's going on, man? How are you?
Hey, Joe. Good to see you, buddy.
Good to see you, too. Now, wait, last year when we did this, you had a plumber coming. And even though we went like 30, 40 minutes, we had to cut it off when the plumber got there. What do you have anything happening today? Any scheduling conflicts?
Yeah, you missed the dishwasher installer by a day, Joe. We could have that would have been an interesting series had we gotten that going yesterday. I think I remember that because we got the plumber on camera, didn't we?
Yes.
And we said that the plumber looked a lot more like a media professional, and you looked a lot more like a plumber. Is what
you said that to him. You said to him that I look like more of a plumber by the long hair. Yeah. And
yeah.
I don't know how that went over. How did that go over with the plumber then after
Well, Joe, I mean, from the check that I wrote, I don't really care how it went over the plumber.
I don't think he probably didn't care either.
Yeah, man. I mean, guys, yeah, I spent a lot of that money that day. You know, the guy can he can be a guest on your podcast and roll with it.
Right. And, and because of that money and because of the dishwasher money, you got to come back and do these shows in St. Louis now all weekend long.
Yeah. That dishwasher, man. Bosch is top of the line from what I understand. What the guy told me at Lemke, and when I bought it after a 2-minute sales pitch. I walked in. And I was like, I need a dishwasher. She's like, this is the one you want. I'm like, all right, man, let's do it. Yeah, I'm not if any car salesmen listen to this show, they might want to hit me up, man, because I'm not a discerning buyer.
I tried to get. I had at a Casey's gas station last week.
Yeah.
I had the clerk behind the counter. She tried to upsell me on lottery tickets.
Oh,
on scratch off lottery tickets. She tried to upsell me on those.
How do you upsell? Is there like a $5 lottery ticket or something?
So the scratch offs, they have $20 scratch offs.
Come on.
Yeah.
Man.
I'm just going in there. So now, I mean, it's the time of the year. So I will, anytime I go into a gas station for anything, I'll buy a couple dollars worth of scratch offs, just for stocking stuffers come Christmas time. So whatever I'm buying, I just kind of throw, $5, $10, but it's the $1 or $2 ones at a time.
Yeah.
And I'm kind of looking and I'm like, give me, give me 3 of those $2 ones. She goes, we just got a whole roll of number 25 in here.
That is a good employee right there. You're not going to find a lot of people working at gas stations that care to upsell you on anything. Yeah.
Right.
Most of them won't speak to you, but
right.
I got upsold on an umbrella one time, man.
Was it raining at the time? Yeah. If it's raining, you're screwed.
It was in New York, and I went into some sort of department store, and I was like looking at these $10 umbrellas, and the sales guy was good. Like he he sold me a $55 umbrella, Yeah, he was showing me all the features on the $55 umbrella, and I was like, wow, there have been a lot of advances in umbrella technology, and I got it home and I was like, there have been no advances in umbrella technology. They're pretty much standard. You push a button and it opens.
Was this when you were living in New York?
Yeah, this one.
Okay, so you just had to take it back to your apartment. It's not like you had to fly home with it and then figure out how to do that, because you don't see people in airports with umbrellas.
Yeah, I guess that's true. Yeah, that's I mean, there's sort of like I learned in New York, just buy the $5 ones on the street and they break, and then you get another one. Then the next time it rains. It's sort of the way it works. Yeah.
Yeah, it seems like that's. I mean, I couldn't tell you where in my house an umbrella is right now.
I got one in the car right now.
I don't even have one in the car. I think I mean, it took. I mean, I'm 37, but it's taken me up until now to kind of realize, you know what? If it's raining, I'm just gonna get wet. Like,
yeah. That's a man speaking right there, Joe.
I guess.
Yeah. So that's a man who's got more important things on his mind than getting wet,
No, I think
responsibilities. Yeah.
Honestly, I think it's because I'm just really cheap. And, and you're sitting there talking about a $10 umbrella and I was like, oh, they started you with the expensive one.
Yeah, no, they go up there, Joe. I can put you in touch with my guy over there at Macy's in New York. They get up there pretty quick.
I'd kind of like to see a $55. Just see it. I'm not going to buy it, but I want to see a $55 umbrella.
It was nice on the showroom floor. It was.
Yeah.
It was pretty nice.
Like I'm big into the youth baseball scene now. My kid is 9 and we're starting with all that. So right now, like I'm trying to keep stuff as cheap as possible with it. I'm not trying to spend a lot of money. I'm not making huge investments because I don't need them waking up the next day and just telling me, okay, I'm done with it. But like baseball bats right now, you remember back in the day? I mean, back when we were in high school, whatever, like how much a baseball bat would cost. And even before that, I mean, you're talking $200, $300. They have baseball bats out there now, $500 for a metal bat.
God.
Yeah.
And then you're going to have to get Tommy John when he turns 13 or so, right?
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, I knew that there were $400 bats out there. I knew that those existed. And then I'm at the store, I'm going around just looking at stuff on Black Friday the other day, and I see one, I'm like, oh, that looks like a nice bat. Let me see what this looks like, in a few years. I'm not buying it for him now. And I look and it said $499, and I was like, holy shit.
Yeah. I need to look into that, because from what I understand, Tower T is back open.
Yes.
And I think they got the cages back. I haven't been there.
I don't know about
the
cage. Yeah, I don't know about that.
They don't have my man Dave ran the over the top arm pitching.
Oh yeah.
I don't think they have those machines. I think they're the shootout machines, from what I understand. But I haven't been over there since they reopened. But I got to get back in there. I was Dave had 90-mile-an-hour Wednesdays, and my brothers and I would go. And yeah, man, it was I hit the Cubs stink sign. It's my proudest achievement in sports.
I've never been. I mean, back when it was open before, never made my way. Oh,
it's great. You hit the Cubs stink sign. It's a big honor. Dave lets you buy a T-shirt for $20, I think.
Yeah. When you so I mean, here we've done this so many years now. Every year that you come in, you make the media rounds, and you're kind enough to always join me, no matter where I am, and do
man,
radio. And we've had some stories in the past. I mean, from last year in the plumber, I remember
I thought a highlight, and I should have thought of this. I should have got you on with the dishwasher installer yesterday, because the guy he would have made a good guest. He's a good media guest.
Do you remember the time you came downtown St. Louis? We were at a restaurant and somebody came up to you and told you your car was about to get towed and you had to run out.
Was that during a parade? Was it Mardi Gras or St. Pat's parade or something? It was during a parade.
It was during a parade, but somebody just came in and was like, hey, tow truck's out there.
Yeah.
And there were like 10 minutes left in the show anyway. And you were like, I got to go. And you just kind of sprinted out of there. And we're like, oh, all right. Well, there he is. So
had I finished out that interview 8-10 years ago, my career may have been in a different place, Joe. There's not a day that I don't wake up and regret that, man. I mean,
so I mean, we're doing,
I listened in the car on the way back, and you guys were hitting on some amazing stuff.
I'm trying. I mean, that probably would have been. I'm trying to think. I don't know who my co-host would have been at the time, but there's a good chance it might have been Jay Jr. At the
man, it could have been. Too. Yeah, God, that's sad, isn't it? That's the first guy that I did radio with.
Really?
I've done radio most of my career, but in the early 2000s, I was just getting started as a road comic, and Rammer and Jay had a show on 590, and those guys would have me in all the time, man. And it was, Jay is just, man, I love that guy. He was true original.
It really was. I mean, it's been a shitty last few weeks from it, but I know I'm almost certain he's the one that introduced me to you back in
Yeah.
the day. It was like, we got to get him in. He's in town. We got to have him in.
Oh, that's cool, man.
Yeah.
Jay was really good to me, man. I don't think anytime that guy walked in the room, I don't think anybody wasn't smiling, you know?
No, you knew it. You knew you were about to have a good day, good afternoon, whatever time of day it was. He was going to do something to make it fun. I wanted to ask you, as we sit here and do it, I mean, comedy now in 2022, when you're doing this, is it easier to do now? Is it more difficult with what you have to watch, or are you just getting all kinds of material from the way the world is right now? How do you kind of view it?
Well, I think it's certainly easier for me because I don't suck anymore, you know. I think those early years, it's more of a challenge. So yeah, I think it's easier. I mean, I've never been. I'm a big fan of all kinds of different kind of comedy. My comedy is not all that controversial, so it doesn't really affect me where the political landscape is, or you know, or I don't know. I think most people aren't going to be offended by what I say, and that's just my style. I really enjoy a lot of other kinds of comedy.
Is it tough to not go that route? Because, I mean, even seeing it from a media standpoint, you look at people that have made that jump to politics. And, I mean, if you go extreme one way or the other, there's money to be made there.
There is. I mean, I have some friends that have done it, and, you know, they're really good. But a couple of them sort of have become more pundits than they are comedians, you know, and that's, I don't really, I mean, I have opinions. I care about what's going on in the world. I care about politics to a certain extent, but it is certainly nothing that I have any kind of passion for. So I don't want to talk about it anyways, but yeah, some of my friends, they do, you know, and a couple of them are, you know, are like bona fide media pundits now. I mean, they're big time. And, you know, they're doing really well.
Roy Wood Jr., right? That's
yeah, but Roy is still a comic, man. That guy is one of the funniest guys I've ever seen, man. He continually puts out funny stuff, man. He's high quality, man. That guy's really cool.
And to weave it into politics and then not, you know, be all that political either with stuff. I mean, and then to be able to go back from it. I just
did they say who's taking over for Trevor Noah? Because I mean, I would think Roy would be an excellent candidate for that. Yeah,
I don't even know when he's taking or when he's leaving. When Trevor Noah
pretty soon, leaving. I think he announced that he's leaving.
Oh, his last episode's December 8th, so next week, I guess.
Yeah, and I don't know who's going to fill in. It should be Roy.
They have not announced as of October 26th. They have not announced it yet.
Wow.
It says that they're Samantha Bee possibly.
Oh, really?
I'm just going off of what that's a quick Google search as we didn't do much show prep leading into the interview here of
well, maybe you should give him a call, Joe.
Who's that?
You. I think Joe Roderick, host of the Daily Show. I like the sound of that.
You know what? I mean, I would like the paycheck that goes along with that. Yeah, that would be that'd be really nice. I don't know if
Claibs will match it. Claibs will double it.
I was gonna say Claibs. Claibs has that money.
Claibs that right, man. You got to give him if they come in with a few mil, you got to go to Claibs and say, hey, man, if you match it, even give him a hometown discount. You know.
Right. I mean, if he keeps giving me his seats to Cardinal games, I keep getting the Claibs seats to Cardinal.
Oh,
games.
do you?
I mean,
that's worth it right there.
Yeah. Like the fact that this man has he gets tickets. I mean, never once. I mean, they give him tickets to games. He's in the booth every game. What the hell does he need tickets for?
He doesn't need tickets for
it. He just has them to give them to people like me. And the seats that we had last year, you had to pay for the food. But they brought the food right to your seat. You ordered it on your phone at the games, and they brought it. I mean, and Greg, I mean, they had it to us in like 5 minutes.
Wow.
Like,
to take your son?
Oh God, yeah. I mean, and I'll tell you this too. It was awesome because first of all, he thought it was the coolest thing ever that they would just bring food to you and you can order it on your phone.
Right.
The other great part is that they were kind of limited with the menu that you could order off your phone too.
Yeah.
So I'm not standing up there and he's not going, I want that and I want that and I want that, and he's just naming everything. It was like, hey bud, you want a hot dog? Okay. You want popcorn? Cool. You want a Sprite? Those are your three options.
Yeah,
that's what they're bringing to us. And I mean, they really would have it to us before the end of the half inning. And
Wow.
I don't know if people around us either knew that they had that option, because there comes a kid with a grocery bag and he's like, "There you go, sir." And they're like, "Where the hell do you get that from?"
That's great. Yeah, I did green seats for the first time this year in my
I've never
in my
done
life.
green seats.
Ah, dude,
Were
it
you
was-
on camera the whole game?
Yes, I was on camera. It was that game that that Michaelis went was pitched against the Mets, and he was going toe to toe with Scherzer, and then Gallegos had a rough. I think a rough.
I remember
top of the
Gallegos
ninth.
he didn't cover the bag.
Yes,
And
yeah, he didn't cover the bag, and then he kind of imploded, and the game was over. But yeah, I mean, it was he was going toe to toe. Michaelis was going toe to toe with Scherzer, and I was right behind home plate, man. That was a great game, man. It was and I can't do that too often, but I'm doing it again, man. I'm gonna find a way. Yeah.
Did Danny Mac give you a shout out during the game or anything?
I don't know, man. I did get some texts. I got some texts from the Mizzou wrestling coach, who's a big Mets fan. He noticed. Brian Smith texted me. Yeah,
I was gonna say I can see Danny Mac just saying something saying something about you. But I'm sure, if you're sitting back there, your phone's blowing up the whole. It has to be blowing up the whole game.
It was pretty cool, man.
I've never done the green seats.
I'd recommend it, man. It is, man, it's outstanding. Good food down there too, and it's back in there is pretty big. Yeah.
And you get to go like underneath and get the whole buffet under there too,
and stuff like that. Yeah. It's great.
I mean, door. So where the press room is, where like all the post game press conferences, everything. The door to that buffet, I think that's like the door you can walk through there to get in there. And
really?
There've been times I've taken shortcuts through there, and I'm like, if I just took a cookie off here, like what?
Don't do it, Joe.
Somebody yell at me, like, does somebody? Hey, what are you doing?
Man. Yeah. Not only that, it's Claves is going to get a call, and
Claves would get a call
up in the booth, man. And that's not. You don't want that going down, man.
I've always tried to be on my best behavior during. God, I'm going on like 11, 12 years, maybe even more years. God, is it 13 years now of doing this?
Yeah,
I think I'm up to 13 years of doing this. And I always try to be on my best behavior. But the past 2.5 years now working for Claves, it's like even more so. I feel like I have to, I don't want him to yell at me. He's yet to yell at me for anything. I've yet to get in trouble for anything, but I feel like, God, I don't want that. Like,
no, you don't want that.
Yeah.
Man. Yeah. You don't want to let him down. Yeah.
No, I feel like that would, I feel like that'd be really, really bad for that. So the green seats there, those are the best seats you've ever sat in for any sporting event.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I think so. You know what? I think I had them when I was a kid. Interestingly enough, I think when I graduated high school, Dan's family's friends of ours, and Dan's dad, who passed away, he gave them to me for a high school graduation. They weren't green seats back then. They were just the seats behind home plate. And he worked for a bank and he had them. And I remember sitting behind home plate with some friends. So I think that, I think I got pretty close to those type of seats, but they weren't like, where you get the service and the buffet and all that stuff. They were just, it was at Old Bush, and they were just good seats. But
yeah, it was back at Old Bush. It was tough to get down to that level. Like, you had to show your ticket stub to get down there. I mean, now the way it's spread out, you can kind of walk in and out. Like, you're not getting to seats if they're not yours, but you had to, I mean, if you wanted to go down to that area, I remember as a kid, I don't know if you ever did this, you would stand kind of towards the end of games, you would stand at those stairs and you would wait for people to walk up and you'd be like, hey, can I get your ticket stub?
Oh, really?
And, yeah.
I remember, they remember Bush Bash. You're probably too young. In the 80s, they had a thing called Bush Bash, and it rained one time. I remember going on the field with my brother on the field. It was raining and we just were on the field. I don't know how we got down there, but we were on the field.
Kids run the bases days. Yeah.
It wasn't that. It wasn't like kids run we just somehow got on the field.
I didn't move down here until 97. So this would have been, I mean, I remember going to games when I was like in 7th or 8th grade, and that would be kind of the thing you did. Like, okay, hey, 6th inning, we're going to go down there. And you would just wait and you try to, everybody down there. I mean, they had good seats if they were down in that level, but you'd try to like, all right, like how do those people look like they would have just been like sitting right behind a home plate, and you're like, hey, can I get your ticket stub? And a lot of times like, get away from me. But every now and then they're like, sure, whatever. I don't need them for anything. And then you'd go down there like, hey, yep, these are my tickets.
My friend Steve Schumacher had a knack for like getting ball players to give him all kinds of stuff. He would just, I remember he got a broken bat from Silvio Martinez one time. He would just ask guys as they're coming off the field, hey, can I have this or that? And he got stuff all the time, man.
You just, I mean, if you have the balls to ask for stuff like that. I mean,
yeah, I didn't. I was
asked 20 times, get it once. I mean, you still got it that one time.
Yeah. Man, I was looking. I got a little carried away this summer with Albert and Yachty and all that. I spent a lot of money on baseball tickets this summer. I was just kind of looking. I was just curious. I'm like, I haven't saved as much money as I probably should have. I had a really good year, and then I looked. I was like, oh man, this. I can't be doing this every year. But
I mean, I'm looking back at how many games I went to this past year, and it kind of got to the point where I remember last March when they signed Albert. I thought it was, I'm sure you did too. It was like, it was the coolest thing. Like, I don't care what he does this year, whatever. Albert's back in a Cardinal uniform. It is what it is. And then for him to be as good as he was.
Oh man. I mean, early on, I was like, guys, why are we hitting him against righties? This is, this is stupid.
Yeah.
And then he all of a sudden, the last couple of months, he's our best hitter. I mean, and I was at those games. I mean, every at bat that I was there, everybody was standing for every one of his at bats. That was a crazy time, man.
It got to the point. I mean, my son he knew the number. Like, he knew what number he was at. Like, he'd wake up in the morning and I'm like, hey, Albert hit a home run last night. And he's like, oh, 687. And I'm just like,
that's cool, man.
He's on it. And we were at the last game, the last regular season game when he hit that home run. I mean,
wow.
He's jumping into me. He's like, that's 703. And I'm just like,
that's so great, buddy. Man, that is really neat to hear. That's awesome.
I mean, he's asking me, he's like, can I get an Albert jersey and everything? And, I got tickets to the wild card game and I was like, yes, absolutely. Like, we're going to go there right now and see if they have them. Like, we're going to go there and see if they have, and it's, I've told this story so many times on the air. It's like, I cannot believe that in 2022, like, I'm buying my kid
an Albert Pujols
jersey.
Yeah, it's not a retro jersey. It's
right.
He's playing there
because he sees him and he's like, wow, this guy's really awesome. I want his jersey. And it's like, this is 20 years in the making. Like,
man,
it's insane.
Yeah.
So as you were on the road this year, like, did you ever, I'm sure you don't plan it this way, but were you ever like in a city when the Cardinals were in that city? Like, did it ever happen to work out?
I don't think it worked out this year. And I should have done it because I can't remember why I didn't do it, but I could have stayed in Phoenix that last Diamondbacks series because I was working there that weekend. And I should have stayed Sunday night because I didn't have a Sunday show. And I don't know. It was one of those runs where I was on the road forever and I was getting ready to be on the road even more. And I was like, I just want to be home for a day or two, but I should have gone there because they had a really good series there too, I think.
Have you, that was, I know Friday, I think he had 2 home runs through the second inning or something. It was something crazy.
I was there for that, but not watch. I was doing shows on Friday and Saturday.
Have you done that before though? Have you been able to catch them in other cities?
Yeah, I think I have. I know I have. I mean, I've been to a lot of ballparks.
I was going to say, that's what I was leading to, is seeing what some of your favorites were with that.
I would say Pittsburgh is my favorite park. It's fantastic.
I've heard that. Yeah.
Yeah, it's really good. I mean, the Giants, that's a really cool stadium. I'm trying to think. I mean, I lived in places. Oh, you know what I really like is Citi Field when I lived in New York. I think Citi Field's fantastic.
I've been to that one.
A giant fan of Yankee Stadium. It seemed, I don't know. It seemed too like a hospital or something. I don't know. I didn't like it. But Citi Field, I had a ball, man. And when I lived in New York, I would go to a lot of Cardinals games whenever they come to town. That one series I'd go.
I've been to Citi once, and it reminded me a lot of Busch. I thought.
Yeah. That one, Citi Field was great. Man, I went I lived in Houston when they were playing in the Dome, and that was a terrible stadium in the Astrodome. Yeah.
Oh, you're talking Astrodome, not Minute Maid.
Astrodome, not Minute Maid. Astrodome. That was a terrible stadium. I think the worst stadium was that thing in Minneapolis, the Dome before.
Yeah.
Was that the Metrodome, or is that what that was? Yeah. That was a terrible baseball stadium. That wasn't good. I lived in LA. Dodger Stadium's pretty amazing. I saw the Cardinals play there.
So a lot of these, like the Giant Stadium, I've been there for a Metallica concert.
Oh, really?
So
okay.
I don't have the sense of what that would be like for baseball.
Yeah.
I saw it for that, and it was like, okay, like the whole area around it and everything. It's like, okay, I need to get out there and see it for an actual baseball game.
It's great, but it's interesting because I think I was there when they were just playing somebody. If the Cardinals are playing there, it's a whole different experience. You have a vested interest in the game.
Yeah, and I've seen. I've the past few years I've traveled around to and I've seen other stadiums doing other things, and I've gotten to see. I saw Target Field, and it was Minnesota against Cleveland.
Yeah,
it was like, okay, like I don't care about anybody out here. I think gambling. I think I'm pretty sure I was just like betting on outcomes of stuff or whatever during that, and then a few days later, we were doing this big road trip. I saw the Royals and the A's.
Yeah.
And this is like the end of 21. This is like in September of 2021. Neither team has, they're both awful. And it's kind of like, you're checking out the game and you're seeing what kind of helmet nachos they have.
Yeah. I think I want to go next year because I've never been to a Royals game. I mean, it's right, it's 4 hours away. And for some reason I've never been, and I want to go from those Cardinals Royals series. And I guess they're talking about moving that stadium downtown.
Yeah. So you see it now. Yeah. See it now. And then check it out. They do have, they have a helmet food that is fries covered in barbecue sauce and coleslaw and, nacho cheese. It's really, really good.
Yeah, man. I don't know. I'm more of a purist, man. Let me see what your fries taste like without all the stuff on it. Okay. This feels like you're hiding something.
If you get it, if they'll sell you that in a helmet, then you're fine. Like that's the way the Dodgers do it. The Dodgers just have all their food in helmets.
Yeah.
And you walk around and you can pick if you want the garlic fries or the regular fries. That's
okay.
I've tried collecting the helmets over the years.
Oh yeah.
Of all it's kind of pathetic the amount of helmets I have.
Yeah, you're gonna have type 2 diabetes by the time you get done with this experiment.
Yeah, you look at it and you think like, God, I've eaten food out of all those things. Like, how am I not 300 pounds right now?
Yeah,
it's but you get to be home this weekend. You are at the Funny Bone out in Westport. Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. You are you have 3 shows on Saturday?
3 on Saturday, and then Sunday we're doing a show at 4 or 3:30. I think it's a matinee, family friendly, like bring the kids type of show. It's pretty fun. I only do it in a few markets. I only do it a few times a year, but it's we bring the kids on stage after the show and interview them and let them tell jokes and stuff like that. It's pretty fun. It's
awesome.
It's a cool thing. Yeah. The rest of the shows are it's going to be great, man.
I noticed the above your shoulder, the poster you have there is Tim Convey there with you this weekend.
He is
too,
not. No? Tim is not on the show this week. I'm bringing my buddy Mark Gross. He's like a big time TV writer. He's one of my best friends, and he's kind of coming out of retirement. I begged him to come go back and do stand up and open for me. He's the guy that I used to open for back in the day, and he's gone on to be more of a writer than a comic. But he was talking about how fun it would be to do stand up again. I was like, well, come out, man. You're not writing on anything right now. So he's coming. That's going to be pretty cool.
That's awesome. So you got that. You'll be there this weekend, all weekend long. the first, the second, the third, and the fourth. People can go online to stlouisfunnybone.com to find tickets, or go to your website, gregwarrencomedy.com, and they can find it all there. Greg, awesome.
Yeah, man. Thanks, Joe. It's always good to talk to you, buddy.
Absolutely. You too, Greg. We will talk soon. I appreciate you coming on.
Let's hit the green seats next year, man.
I'm all for it, man. And I'll hit you up too. I'll let you know when I got Klebs' seats.
Yeah, man. Let's go see when the Cards pick up Judge and Rodon. We'll go check that out, man. It'll be great.
He's Greg Warren. We will be back right after this.